House hacking in today's real estate market has taken a complete 180. I mean, when I first started investing in real estate, house hacking was the talk of the town. You could purchase a home, rent out one of the rooms or the basement, and use that rent to help offset your mortgage costs on that home. Recently, however, I've been getting asked a ton if house hacking is still a thing, or if it's even profitable. So in today's video, I'm going to break down house hacking in today's real estate market and give you some tips and hacks on how you can make it profitable. Oh yeah, we're going to hack house hacking. But before we get into the good stuff, if you enjoy this video, please don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. And if you enjoy content on all things real estate, make sure to hit that subscribe button. As I briefly mentioned at the beginning of this video, house hacking means finding ways to generate income from your home. Savvy investors have always known that buying a multi-unit property, or single family for that matter, and house hacking it is an easy way to learn about property management and the work it takes to be a landlord, all while having their housing expenses compensated by their tenants. So why should you even consider house hacking? Well, house hacking is a way to reduce living expenses temporarily, or it can be considered the beginning of a budding career as a real estate investor. I mean, either way, with the increased cost of housing today, it's a method for using an asset you already have or are planning to buy to pay for your lifestyle, to put money into savings, or even buy more real estate investment properties, all while building home equity. Even if you aren't cash flowing right off the bat, with appreciation and annual rent increases, you could easily turn your housing asset into a cash flowing machine. There are a lot of different ways you could house hack, which is why it's so important to have a strategy. I'll go over some of the ways that you can do this, but when deciding which way is best for you, think about your skills, your lifestyle, what you'd be comfortable with, and of course, your budget. If you're on a tighter budget, but super handy around the house, maybe doing live-in long-term or short-term room rental is right for you. Or maybe you have a garage or an auxiliary dwelling unit that isn't being used. You can rent that out as well. It's important to be very clear on what you're comfortable pursuing and living in. All right, so let's take a look at some of the most common ways a house hacker earns their rental income and go over one of my now favorite hacks to house hacking, and that's buying a multi-unit property and living in one of the units, otherwise known as owner-occupied. Now, before you say, there's no way I can afford to buy a multi-unit, I might have agreed with you 6 months ago. But just hear me out for a second. In the past, Fannie Mae required you to put 15% down on an owner-occupied duplex, which is a 2-unit, or 25% down on a 3 or 4 unit. I mean, that's a good chunk of change, obviously. But they've now adjusted that rule. You can put just 5% down on a 2 to 4 unit property as long as you're living in one of the units. This is an absolute game changer when it comes to house hacking and real estate investing, because that 5% down payment is much more attainable. Just to give you an example, say you were looking at purchasing a duplex for $700,000. Before, you would have had to come up with a $105,000 down payment. Now, you only have to come up with $35,000. So how does house hacking work in a multi-unit? Well, if you live in one of the units, you have tenants rent out the others. These types of homes can give you the opportunity to live on site while not sharing a bathroom with a tenant. Choosing to go this route also allows you to maintain your own space and privacy while still gaining rental income from your home. I mean, if it were me, I'd choose to rent out the extra units long-term versus turning them quickly into Airbnb. But that's not to say it can't be done that way. Whichever rental term you choose, it's important to make sure you're familiar with the zoning, with the HOA restrictions, and short and mid-term rental guidelines for your metro, as they could limit your options. The second way you could house hack is by offering rooms for short-term rentals. If you don't own a multifamily home and you're not sure you like the idea of committing to a long-term rental in any part of your current home, you can explore real estate investing just by offering up a spare room as a short-term rental. There are plenty of platforms out there to help you find short-term renters. Super easy, like Airbnb and VRBO, just to name two. Plus, women property owners interested in renting out only to other women for safety reasons might be interested in Go Lightly. It's an invitation-only site that vets its gender-exclusive membership. Short-term rentals are definitely the sexy thing to do right now. But again, make sure you look up the short-term rental laws in the state and the locality where the property is located. And if the home is part of a homeowners association, make sure you're thoroughly familiar with their rules before buying. Many HOAs today flatly prohibit both short-term and sometimes even long-term rentals. A third way to house hack, and probably my second favorite, is to find housemates. Sharing a home with a housemate is such an incredibly easy way to hack a house. Not only will you receive a monthly rent payment, you'll also be able to split your utilities and maintenance costs. All three of my kiddos did this when they bought their first home in college, and the rent they gathered from their housemates either covered their mortgage entirely or covered it and then some. Of course, depending on your situation, there is a cost in terms of privacy and personal space lost when renting out your home while you're still living in it. However, the financial pluses of sharing a household expenses in addition to rent may outweigh any privacy considerations. Plus, your house may even be configured in such a way that both of you and your tenants have plenty of private space. The last way to house hack that I'm going to talk about today is by using auxiliary dwelling units, or ADUs. More and more homeowners today are using extra yard space to build an ADU and rent it out to help offset their mortgage costs. And this is a great option for investors who want to dip their toes in the water. In this way, you don't have to necessarily buy an entirely new property, and you can keep your eye on the ADU and easily manage it. I mean, it's in your backyard. There are also great ADU financing options available, but I'm going to have to save that conversation for another video. To recap all of this, house hacking is a great way to get started in real estate investing. There are options for everyone, whether you're starting out slow and steady or ready to take a dive into the deep end. You are only limited by your creativity and the people you choose to partner with. So with that being said, I'd love to be your partner in real estate. Not only support your financing, but I have some of the best real estate partners in the industry I can refer you to. So if you're ready to take the leap, comment below or DM me to get started. So that's all I have for you today. I look forward to talking to you soon.